Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Charlene, and I just picked my garden yesterday. Overall, it took me about 2 days to get done. So it is actually October, what is today? Today's like the 4th. Yeah, today's the 4th that I'm filming this. So I'm so surprised that we even got that far, but like in the 20s all the way up to the end of September. And then it was starting to drop below 10 at night, and I started to notice, and we had a lot of moisture around the tomato plants, and it was starting to have mold kind of growing up the plants and stuff and infecting the tomatoes. So I decided to call it quits. I wasn't going to get more than one more week anyways. So anyhow, that is what I did, and I am going to be extremely busy over the next couple of days trying to preserve these. So let's see what we got. These are the hot peppers out of the garden, a variety that are still kind of, there's a few that they're red, but they're not fully red. They're just starting to turn. And I don't know quite what I'm going to do with these ones. So those are going to just sit on the table until I figure that out. So what I'm going to do is I will explain to you what I'm planning on doing them as it comes time. So these ones are just going to sit on the table. These ones have all been washed. I have 2 baskets here that I still have to wash and kind of organize in here. And then up front here, this is all the red peppers. They're going to be this container is mostly hot peppers, and these ones are banana peppers and a couple other ones, and I think I have a few in here that's going to go in there. Those I'm going to make hot pepper rings with, and I'm not going to video this part of it because I just put out a video doing those, so that I'll do kind of, you know, off camera and stuff. So these I'm going to put on the table. So yeah, so like I said, it's going to be a multi-day video. So these are the last of our green onions. They are already washed, and I snipped the end off. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to I'm going to cut the green part off and dehydrate them and keep them in a jar and just kind of add them to soups throughout the winter and stuff. And then this part of the onion I'm going to like add to salads, or I actually just made this really great potato recipe, and I'm going to definitely make a video and share with you, but it was so fabulous using the green onions instead of just the regular, even though the regular would be fantastic as well, but I really enjoyed the green onion flavor to it. So those will go in a bag in the fridge, and I will try to use those up as soon as possible. So for now, I'm just going to cut these, check for any bad spots. Just use my handy scissors to do so. Anyways, I also pulled the last basil, and half of it's in the dehydrator, and I pulled the last of our, what's it called, chives. And I washed and cut those up this morning, and those are in the dehydrator. So I have another load with, what was the other thing I did? Oh, I had some lemon balm. I hadn't taken really good care of that throughout the year this year, so I cut what was still good, and it smells so good when it's fresh. Oh, it smells wonderful. So I just thought I'd cut some off and, you know, dehydrate them and save them maybe for teas or something like that throughout the winter. So probably tomorrow I will do that. And so for now, I'm just going to continue cutting these up. Good morning. It is 2 days later. Yesterday I spent the whole day in the kitchen canning. I did I pressure canned a mixture of peas and carrots. Those were not for my garden, but I needed some of those on my pantry shelf. And then my husband helped me. I had 2 bowls of hot peppers, and he spent about 2 hours and chopped them all up for me. and I got, was it 2, 4, 6 quart-sized jars. So between that and what I had previously made a couple weeks ago, that's going to do us for about a year, maybe even a year and a half, depending on how much we use it. Anyways, and so today's project, today I'm going to deal with this huge bowl of peppers. So I think these are, I don't think these are hot ones, but maybe they are. Anyways, they were the ones that were still green or not quite turning their color. So I think all I'm going to do with these is chop them up, and I'm going to vacuum seal them in portion size and just throw them into the freezer for whenever we need it. Then you just take it out of the freezer, and one less thing to do, which is great. So I am going to get started on that. Okay, so I only got through not even half so far, and a good hour and a half I've been cutting these. Anyways, I'm going to start to vacuum seal some of these, and I will come back to this to do the rest of it soon enough. So I'm just trying to think of the size I'll need. I'm not going to measure with cups or anything like that, but I always do a double seal at the bottom, just so there's no, or very little chance of it losing its suction. Oops, I'm making a mess. I'm thinking that should be okay. Moisture up in the machine, which is what I don't want. I'm gonna have to put napkins inside. Now if I froze these ahead of time and then vacuum seal them, I wouldn't have to worry about that, but yeah, it didn't actually vacuum seal too well here because of the moisture that got through, so I'll have to cut that and redo it. That's not going to last. So I'm just going to cut right below. So this is what I did with my carrots yesterday too, because that's what happened yesterday too. So I'm just going to put a napkin which will catch the majority of that so it doesn't affect. Okay, that's garbage. I'm going to make sure it's not where, no, it's big enough, okay. Okay, much better. Doesn't look as pretty with this, but if you do put a napkin in here, make sure it's not where it's going to seal. So if you can see, I did that right below there. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Then I'm just gonna write 24 so that I know what gardening year I did this in case I don't use all of them and I get a couple of years in the certain amount of time has to go by before you can hit the seal only, at least on this one. I think like 30 seconds or something because it has to cool down a little. There we go. Okay, and I will continue this and I'll keep you posted at how many we get. Welcome to another day. So I don't know that I mentioned all the green tomatoes that I got out of my garden as well. I probably should have got to these a couple days earlier because I went this morning and quite a bit of them were blushing already. So I did have a recipe, dilled green tomatoes that I want to make with these. I made these last year. I didn't love them myself, but my mom really liked them. She kept going, "Can I have another jar, Char? I hate to ask, can I have another jar?" So in the end, they all went to her, which is perfectly fine because she can't grow a garden. So I am more than happy to do that for her. So that's what I'm going to do this year. And yeah, so this, I weighed it out. It calls for 5 pounds. So whoops, these two bowls here are 5 pounds. I don't know. I think there's going to be enough to make another batch of these, but there was also this other pickling recipe with hot peppers, and I do have some hot peppers that were not quite ripe when I was doing the hot pepper rings the other day. So I might do that. I'll have to think about that through the day. But anyway, so that's the recipe. It is again in the Bernardin's Complete Book of Home Preserving on page 317. Dilled green tomatoes. So you please excuse the mess behind me. I'm taking on like 2 or 3 projects today. Cooking bacon, and I'm going to be pressure canning some hamburger soup. So I just thought I would, you know, start out doing some of those this morning. So then what I'm going to do, it's actually says the small and firm green tomatoes are the best to use. So anyways, I had some of these small green ones that didn't ripen. So I have quite a few of those, and then just a bunch. Some of them have a little bit of imperfections on them, like this one here. All I'm going to do is just cut that little area out, and I'm still going to use the rest of it. So yeah, there's no point in wasting. So I'm going to get started cutting these, and that is what we're going to do. I'll put the book over here. Halved or quartered or green cherry tomatoes. Oh, okay, so these tiny ones I could actually leave whole. So that's great. So I think I'm just going to cut like the tip of the heads off of these where the stems attach, just so that the pickling juices can go inside, and then those ones are tiny enough, and some of them you can see a slight, I don't know if you'd call that a bruise. I think it's just from the cooler air coming out. I should have picked the tomatoes probably a good day earlier, and I'll cut those off, but the rest of them are still good. I don't want to waste them. Okay, This one was starting to, actually I'll see if you can see. This one was starting to blush inside because they blush from the inside out. There. But we're still going to put it in the green tomatoes. So I think that's about a good size there for the slightly larger ones. Just thinking too though, is that too big for like a bite? I'm going to leave it at that. Just talking to myself like I always do. Have to work it out. Okay, all cut up. Now we're gonna make the brine. So I have the water in here already in the pot, a quarter cup of the pickling salt, and vinegar. Okay, now we're going to take it over to the stove and bring it to a boil. As well, I have, today I'm going to use the steam canner, and I've got my jars in there keeping warm right now. So the brine has been at a boil. Now I have to, where did, in hot jars, we have to pack the tomatoes. Now each jar gets a bay leaf. I think I'm going to put it at the bottom. Once I can open this, of course. I just cut my nails. So the recipe calls to put them in 500 milliliter jars. I'm choosing to put them in the quart jars. That's what I did last year. And I'm just going to add an extra 5 minutes to the time. I don't have a lot of the 500 milliliter jars, and I don't want to purchase any because they've just gotten so expensive. And I do have a lot of the quart size, so that is what I'm going to do. It says to add a clove of garlic, but I have already crushed garlic, so I'm going to use that. And also, whoops, oh, that's a mess, dill. I don't have fresh dill, but I dehydrated my dill because they came ready like a good month or so ago. So that's just the way that I can use it, and it doesn't cost me any money. Okay. And then we're just going to leave a 1/2 inch head space here. Just going to deep bubble. Those sprigs under the water. Perfect. I'll just take that one out. Just a little bit more. There we go. Just finger tight. I'm going to put these in the steam canner while I do more jars. This is not going to be enough for another full-size quart jar. I'm going to go figure out where to put another jar to put that in. Okay, I found a 750 milliliter in my garage, so washed it, put it in my steam canner for a few minutes. Now it's hot too. And because I checked, I had more than that would fit into a 500 milliliters, so thought I would try this one. It's going to be very, very close here. Okay. Do a bay leaf. Exactly enough. Perfect. Okay. That will work. Good. Now the 500 milliliters, it takes 15 minutes, but because I'm going to do 20 minutes because I'm doing the quart in this size jar. Oops. Okay, so now I'm just going to wait till it comes to the right temperature, and then I'm going to start my timer. So while that's still coming up to heat, I thought I would I had pulled all of my green onions and I threw them in the dehydrator So I am going to put them in the jars. I put them in the dehydrator with basil, and the basil isn't quite done, so I'm just going to this is the lemon balm, I believe. And so I had some from earlier in the season. I'm just going to put them in larger jars. And these would be great to add to soups or whatever I want a little onion flavor in throughout the winter. There we go. And I just freed up a 500 milliliter jar, which is great because I've got a whole lot of things that I need these jars for that I still have to make, so it's great. I'll have to get a larger lid for that. No, I don't have any here. So wash those. And I will put these in their container as well, but one more to do off the list. There we go. Okay, so now it reached its temperature, so now I just set the timer for 20 minutes. Okay, I just thought I'd bring you closer to see the steam canner, how the steam is coming out. And then there's a little hole actually towards the back there that steam is coming out as well. Okay, so the tomatoes are done. I'm just going to let them sit there for about 5 more minutes, and then I will transfer them over here. So now I just have a couple of projects actually. I was just staring at my shelf with all my spices and stuff, and some of them I have in large jars, but there's not very much, so I thought I would deal with those. So 2 things I did. I had peppermint from my garden and I dehydrated them, and then I just shoved them in a large jar. And I already did this part, but I just grinded them down to put into tea. And it is, this is my favorite smell in the whole wide world. If I feel stressed, I will grab peppermint and just smell it. It just relieves all the tension. It makes everything, and chocolate peppermint too does the same. It's just amazing. 2 of my kids love the peppermint tea. So now I have, actually, but you know what I was going to do? Since I'm short on the 500 milliliters, what I do sometimes is I will save just random jars. I think, what was in here? The olives from the store. Oh, that actually, this one was the onions. Those little tiny onions. Okay, this one's fine. Actually, that one I'm going to let sit open for a little bit before, yeah, because I do not want to ruin my, okay. But anyways, these are great for that, and then you're not wasting any of your jars that you need to use for something else. I really should use a funnel instead of my hand so I don't spill it, but I have all of them in use right now, I think. Ooh. That is going to be a tight squeeze. Oh, it just fit. Perfect. Okay, now I can use that for something else, and then I'm just going to write peppermint, and I always write what year, because sometimes I will have done it the year before and just I have not used it, so I just like to make sure that the previous year gets used first. But I'm sure this will be used without a problem. And then I also started to grow stevia. So it's like that sweetener. So I had already previously made this into powder. I haven't actually used this. I actually did use it one time as the leaves. So I dehydrate them, and then when I have time to grind everything down, sometimes it just doesn't work out. You can do it all in one day. And when I was doing the leaf teas, I would put a couple stevia leaves in with the bag of tea that you're making. And yeah, it definitely has a different kind of a taste, right? It's not just like sugar or like a normal sweetener. It leaves a little taste in your mouth. That is to get used to for sure, but it is still healthier than some of the other options. And I had to buy these plants. I didn't grow them from seed. I don't think I've seen anywhere that you can do that. If you have, let me know. Anyways, I just kind of grew it from my local greenhouse. So anyways, all I'm doing is I'm just dumping them in to my bullet, NutriBullet, and it doesn't even have to be in here for long whatsoever till it's ground down to a fine leafy powder. That's literally all you need. And if you want it more of a powder, you just leave it in there. Actually, this is stevia, so maybe I should grind that one down. Maybe I will do that one a little bit more. And there you go. Way it's less jars that I have sitting on my shelf, because some things I had two. I ground some down and others were in leaf form, so okay, there we go. Okay, that too can be put away, and these can be washed, and I will bring over the tomatoes. I can't remember what was washed and what was not washed, so I'll have to rewash everything. So you see all the liquid on the bottom. That's why you shove these so full, because with some recipes that's what happens. And this is going to be for my mom. She'll be very happy with that. And that is it for the projects for today. Well, other than my hamburger and stuff, I'm going to get moving on those. So we will see you probably tomorrow. Okay, last morning of the preservation of the last pick of the season's garden. I still have quite a bit left. As you can see, I did not get as much of these chopped up the other day as I had anticipated, but that's okay. We'll get it done today. Actually, I have no choice. Some of them are starting to look like they need to be used. So anyways, I still have this much green tomatoes, and I did decide not to make any more of the pickled green tomatoes, and because I really wanted to try this new recipe. And so anyways, I'm going to use those up, and then this is all specifically hot peppers that haven't completely turned red. Some of them have, since I have picked them, but not all of them. But that will be great for this recipe, because I think I can use just regular peppers mixed with some of these really hot peppers, and that should do it. Plus I might add some, what is that called? The pepper flakes to spice it up. Anyways, it calls for 12 cups of cut up peppers. So I think I'm just going to sit down and cut these up. I'm getting together with coffee with a friend I haven't seen for over a month. So I think that's what I'll do while we're having coffee, is just cut everything up. And then when I'm ready, I will bring you guys back. Okay, I have got all of the peppers cut up. These are just kind of bell peppers I'm going to vacuum seal. Still haven't got around to that. It takes a really long time to get all these peppers cut. These are semi-hot peppers. I wasn't sure how many I would need, so I kind of separated them in bowls, but those ones aren't needed. These are super hot ones, and they did not fit into this, so I'm going to do something else with these in a little bit. So I'm going to move these. Okay, so what I decided to make was, it's pickled green tomato hot pepper mix. It's on 318 of the Bernardin book. So what I'm going to do is, I added the vinegar, water, and sugar into this pot here. I'm going to bring it to a boil. 1/4 cup of pickling spice in this bag that I'm going to put in as soon as this comes to a boil, and I'm going to turn the temperature down and let it simmer for 10 minutes. And then what we did, actually I'll just move this over there. Oh yeah, so in this nice big bowl here, we've got the green tomatoes. It was, 7 pounds of green tomatoes, and it was 4, 8, 12 cups of different kinds of peppers. I wasn't really keen on following the exact recipe, but I did make sure it was 12 cups. And it also called for 2 cups of the pickling or pearl onions. I didn't have that, so I just used regular white onions, but what I did is I cut them in big hunks like this, and I just kind of threw them in there. That way, if somebody doesn't want it, they can just kind of easily move it aside. And then you add a tablespoon of pickling salt and garlic cloves in here, and you just mix it and put it aside. So that is done and ready. I'm just going to put the vinegar mixture on the stove, and I will be back as soon as that is ready. Okay, so the brine is at a boil now with the bag of pickling spice in it. I realized that the pan I put that in is not big enough once I put the vegetables in, so I put the vegetables into this one, and I'm going to dump the brine into that. Oh wow, that right up my nose. And the spice bag is supposed to go in with this as well. And then we're supposed to bring it to a boil again, and then let it sit for 10 minutes. Okay. So, I'm just going to discard this spice bag now. We are just going to fill these up. Actually, this one is, there it is. I like using this red one. It has a bigger hole than this one. We're just going to add the mixture into the hot jars. The recipe said to make sure there's 1 clove of garlic into each jar, but because I used crushed, it's going to be in there, leaving a 1/2 inch head space. I think my husband is going to really like this. Just looks like something he would enjoy. This is the first time we've made this, by the way. Bubble. Quarter teaspoon of the pickle crisp, if you choose to. And then I'm just going to add a little more liquid to each. Okay, I'm just going to continue this, but when they're done, it will be 15 minutes in the water bath or the steam can, or whatever you choose to use. From Cannon. Okay, finally done. I am so happy with what I accomplished in this last 4 or 5 days. So what did I just did these over here, the hot pepper mix with the onions. Did have one break. It was totally my fault. Yesterday when I was looking through my jars, I had found a jar that near the bottom I could see an imperfection that kind of did a curve. I put an X on it so I could remind myself not to use it, and sure enough I just grabbed it, didn't even look, and it broke through here. So exactly the shape that I so one loss, but that's okay. So anyways, I got quite a few jars of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jars. My husband came home actually when I was jarring up the last couple jars, and he tried it while it was still piping hot. I don't know how he does that. But anyways, and he loves it. He kept coming back and trying to get more. So that's a great recipe if you like hot and spicy stuff. So that was that. We got the 4 jars of pickled green tomatoes. These were the hot pepper rings. So that I did 6. That's the one I didn't do on camera. So with the last peppers that I had in the bowls, I measured and I had just enough to, oh, I thought this was bowing. I was just checking, it's just water in there. I ended up doing the same recipe that for these hot pepper rings. I did the same recipe for these ones. These aren't all green, but they're still spicy tomatoes. So that, I got 1 more serving of beans, green and yellow mixed. So I froze them and vacuum sealed them. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 packs of peppers just cut up like this. So that I'm going to all go into the freezer, and then of course I did the items that I dehydrated. So I'm very happy with what I did. It's a lot of work, but I'm happy that it's all done. So anyways, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and we will see you on the next video. Take care.